Hi, and welcome to the Men on the Path to Love podcast, the Getting Through the Cheat episode. I'm Bill Simpson, your host. I coach men who are struggling in relationship, how to communicate effectively, build trust, and deepen intimacy so that they can be the best version of themselves in relationship and live the life they love. Infidelity, in a marriage or a relationship, can be really devastating. The ultimate betrayal of trust, right? Well, does it have to be the end of the marriage or relationship? It can be, and a lot of the times it is. And sometimes it's a way for some to get out of the relationship, whether consciously or subconsciously. Not getting their needs met and not expressing those needs. So often the betrayal is just too much to bear, and trust is forever broken, and the relationship ends. Well, that was the case for my client John, not his real name. He had a brief, one-time sexual encounter with one of his coworkers, and his wife Debbie, not her real name, found out by accident when John sent Debbie a sexually suggestive text that was meant for his coworker by mistake. Well, needless to say, Debbie was devastated and heartbroken. And even though John admitted the affair, said it only happened once, that it didn't mean anything, and that he was truly remorseful, Debbie's bottom line always was that if you cheated on her, the relationship was over. John begged and pleaded with Debbie, said that he would do anything to save the marriage. Well, Debbie wasn't having it. She filed for divorce, and the marriage was over. According to the APA, the American Psychological Association, affairs are the cause of 20 to 40% of divorces in America. Research also shows that when it comes to who cheats more, men or women, where it used to be men reported cheating about 10% more than women, it's now at a similar rate. With that said, an affair doesn't have to mean that the relationship is over, although the statistics say it's rare. Some research says on average about 55% of relationships end after one of them admits cheating, and about 30% stay in the relationship, but then the relationship eventually ends. And then they say about 15% of couples survive the cheat and actually build a deeper and stronger relationship. Going to couples therapy and doing the work makes your chances of surviving the cheat even better. And it's possible that the relationship can not only survive, it can thrive to be stronger than ever. So take, for example, my client Sean and his wife Tara, not their real names. One day, Sean was heading to the city for a lunch meeting for work when he spotted Tara kissing a man before getting into a cab. He couldn't believe it. It was like something out of a movie, he said. Sean was shocked. He said it felt like he had been punched in the gut in slow motion. And he was so upset that he had to cancel his meeting. Sean was so confused and he felt betrayed because he had always been faithful to Tara. And he couldn't imagine her not being faithful to him. And in all his confusion, Sean waited until he got home to calmly confront Tara. She cried and she admitted that she was indeed having an affair. And Tara was actually relieved from carrying all the guilt of it. She was truly remorseful and said that it was a mistake and that she was going to end it right away. And Tara told Sean that she loved him and wanted to stay married to him and work things out. So that left Sean wondering if he should stay or go. Well, his ego certainly wanted to go. He felt so betrayed, hurt, humiliated. He was angry, which were all valid feelings. And after working with Sean, using some self-compassion techniques for what he had been through, with finding out about the affair and what he was going through, trying to decide whether to stay or go, I asked him to put his negative feelings aside for the moment, to take some deep breaths and to go inside his heart and look at what was really important to him. what he valued. What was it that he really wanted? What did his soul want? Sean got really quiet, tears welled up, and he said quite frankly that as mad and as hurt as he was, he still loved Tara, and he wished that they could get past the affair and work on the marriage. He even self-reflected in that with him being so busy with work and his lack of showing his vulnerability may have contributed to Tara straying. And the stress of the affair and the possibility that the marriage would end was overwhelming for Sean. He just wanted to move on and focus on getting his life and his relationship back on track. Well, Sean and Tara ended up going to marriage counseling, and it was really hard at first. And yet they both persevered and did the work. Tara had to become totally transparent with Sean, sharing passwords, letting Sean know where she was going, answering all of Sean's questions about the affair, and really showing effort to assure Sean that it would never happen again. One of his conditions was that if he ever found out that she cheated again, that he would definitely leave. Sean worked on being more vulnerable and making more time for Tara. And eventually, over time, Tara was able to gain Sean's trust again. They were able to turn a major crisis into a blessing that they never could have imagined happening. Sean and Tara decided to renew their vows and started a new beginning of a long-lasting marriage. They didn't give up. That's a special kind of love and connection when you don't give up. You persevere, you go for the long term of the relationship. And it takes a lot of strength, courage, and commitment to get through something as devastating as an affair. And in the case of Sean and Tara, it looks like it was well worth the work that they put into it. Here's a quote from an unknown source. It says, "The couples that are meant to be are the ones who go through everything that is meant to tear them apart and come out even stronger than they were before." Can I get an amen? Yeah, when it comes to facing infidelity in your relationship, only you can decide whether it's worth the effort to work through it. And of course, ultimately, you and your partner or spouse must decide too. It's a really tough predicament to be in. So trust yourself, trust your gut, and you will know when you know. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Men on the Path to Love podcast, the Getting Through the Cheat episode. I'm Bill Simpson, your host. I thank you so much for listening and taking the time to learn and grow to be a better you in relationship. And remember, if you have any challenges going on in your relationship you need help with, if you'd like to give me some feedback or suggestions for the show, or you just want to join my email list, please email me at bill@pathwaystolivingwell.com. That's bill@pathwaystolivingwell.com. I invite you to join me for the next special episode of the Men on the Path to Love podcast, when I'll be speaking with a very wise and pretty amazing marriage counselor, Arlene Foreman, about whether there are differences between men and women in relationship. You just might be surprised. That and more coming up on the Men on the Path to Love podcast, the Interview with the Marriage Counselor episode. And until then, keep your heart open and stay on the path to love.